Namaste, soul family, Sky Goddess, and this video is about past lives frequencies. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this for all the signs in one go. Okay, beginning with the first element. Okay, which is fire, Aries. All right, so for those strongly influenced by that Virgo frequency, Aries frequency. Whether it's Aries Sun or Rising or North Node, yeah, I'm not gonna say Moon because that's really just your emotions, right? I'm gonna talk about your essence, the way in which people see you, and your ego, the way in which you project yourself, and your North Node, the path that you're being called to trot. So Aries Sun, Rising, North Node, you were very spiritual in your past life. You could have been a spiritual guru, a religious leader. You could have been, someone really religious that, people would go to for, advice. Some of you could also have been, rather lazy and, very stoic in your previous lifetime, which is why, you started, this life cycle with so much, passion, which is fire frequency, so much zeal and enthusiasm, because coming from a state of stoicism, you become the cluster, and you come into this lifetime, you enter this lifetime as though you're breaking free from prison, because that's also Pisces frequency, and that's why, Aries people, you tend to seem so youthful, like babies, because babies come from spirit. That's also Pisces frequency, right? But with a lot of you, I feel like maybe I should mention that in the next life cycle video. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So a lot of you were, really spiritual. You Aries Sun, Rising, and North Node. You're rather very spiritual in your life, previous life cycle. For you, belief was the center of your world. You were, for you, belief is everything, basically, right? So yeah, you could have been a high priestess for some of you. Like I said, a pastor, a bishop, some spiritual guru. For some of you, could have been a mistress in your previous lifetime. Try not to bring that frequency into your current or your future lifetime, because it's gonna, play out horribly for you. Some of you were rather very secretive in your previous life cycle. Some of you could have been, illusionist in your previous life cycle. And that's why, Aries, you guys come into this new lifetime with, that magician frequency. And that, need to control. Because you're coming from that Pisces frequency, or in which, everything that you willed, subconsciously, you received. Whether this was through prayer, or, meditation, or visualization. And so you bring that forceful frequency into this lifetime. But for the most part, you're not being called to be forceful, to live under that frequency, okay? Because the balance is to experience both ends of the spectrum. Alright? Moving on to Leo Sun. Alright, in your previous life cycle, you were a nurturer. Okay, you could have been a stay-at-home parent, male or female. For some of you, you could have been heavily, involved in the occult, right? For some of you, You could have, been, a healthcare provider, someone who was a part of the healthcare industry. Um, Particularly, dealing with children. Some of you too could have also been healers, doctors, right? But whatever, whatever aspect of that nurturing frequency, you were that in your previous life cycle. All right? You may be, you might have worked from home, right? For some of you, you could have, traveled a lot for work in your previous lifetime, right? And let me just say this, life life is basically cycles within cycles, right? So this, previous lifetime frequency, it doesn't necessarily have to be a frequency from a previous incarnation. It can be a frequency from this current incarnation, okay? Um, Prior to, you know, experiencing your Saturn return, all right? Okay. Moving on to Sagittarius, all right? For you, you come into this lifetime, being so generous. And that's because you were quite wealthy in your previous lifetime. You were a motherfucking, you know, star boy or star girl. Not Aquarius star frequency, but I mean in terms of the dough and the cash, right? And this could also be you got a lot of support in your previous life cycle, right? And so, only fair and natural that you balance the scales, right? And come into this lifetime being a giver because you are actually a taker. All right, that's that Scorpio frequency. Scorpios are takers. Okay? So, in your previous life cycle, for some of you, you could have even been a mistress, been heavily supported, by your spouse or your lovers. All right. For some of you, you could have, been heavily involved in the sex industry. You feel me? And this don't necessarily gotta be pornography. It can be um, modeling, and it can be um, sexual acting, like in music videos and so on and so forth. For some of you were quite handsome in your previous life cycle. Let me just say that. Okay. Some of you could have, let me just say, could have been very stingy in your previous life cycle. That's the balance again. So coming from being stingy in your next life cycle, you're going to be very generous. Alright? Because that's who you are, Sagittarius, You carry blessings, you expand. You reach out. So you work with the Aquarian and the Virgo. Let me just say that. Cancer and Pisces. Yeah, such beautiful frequencies. You guys, would work so well together. Of course, it depends on the aspects. Alright? Where these frequencies are. Right? So, Scorpios, though they're wealthy, they tend to be very stingy. And this is because, they are stingy because they wanna, they this is so true about Scorpios. Scorpio, you were very stingy in your previous life cycle, Sagittarius, right? And usually, beggars tend to be very mean. That's what I come to realize. People who love to beg, they tend to be very mean and selfish. They're scrapers, you call them. So you were a scraper in your previous life cycle, right? So if you are still a scraper in this current life cycle, Sagittarius, you're in big trouble. Okay, you're not supposed to be a scraper. You're not supposed to be mean, right? Some of you were even thieves in your previous life cycle. And now to balance the scale, the karmic scale, you need to give. Alright? You need to give. So a lot of times people are cursed or experiencing, cursed destinies. It's because you cursed yourself. Because you're on fear. You don't want to balance the scales. So if you are a taker in the next life cycle or your current life cycle, you need to be a giver. Or you're going to be stagnant. I'm telling you. Alright? So that's Sagittarius Sun, Rising, and North Node. You need to be a giver. You need to be helping and extending your arm out to people and helping people. And if you're not doing that, you're not living in your North Node. Right? Moving on to the water signs. Cancer. In your previous life cycle, you were, very communicative. Right? And you even probably like to interfere. Right? Because, that's Gemini frequency, devil's advocate. Right? Love to butt in and interfere. Right? Of course, it's not always maliciously. But that's just that interrupting Gemini frequency. That's because Gemini rules, words. Our words. Though Gemini rules the hands, also the connection, between Gemini and Aries, the mouth, because the mouth is on the face, which is ruled by Aries. So Aries rules the mouth, right? And Taurus is a sub-ruler of that. Gemini too, right? Because the mouth is connected to the throat, right? And words, they come from our mouths, right? So you are quite very talkative, okay, in your previous life cycle, or very communicative, right? For some of you, could have been very shifty or too, wishy-washy, right? In this current life cycle, you're called to be more stable. Though you're a water sign, but you are a stable water sign because you're the home. All right? You're the home and you're the nurturing one. So you got to have a form or sense of stability, right? And that's why you got your Mercury there in an earth sign. All right? Or air, water is way more stable than air. Who can fucking control air? Nobody. Some of you too could have been, envious in your previous life cycle. Maybe that's why you talk so much. Maybe you were interfering a lot with people's business, right? Some of you even had rigid belief systems, all right? Very rigid. Some of you could have also been prostitutes or hoes in your previous life cycle, right? Listen, I'm not saying every Cancer sun was a hoe in their previous life cycle. I'm saying some of you, because the other aspects in your natal chart, they create a whole, much more profound picture. Let me just say that, a much more profound picture, right? I'm giving varying, energies from the frequency of Cancer in terms of past life frequencies, okay? And some of you, honestly, could have been prostitutes. All right, you could have, been a porn star in your previous life cycle. All right. If you continue in that path, you might contract AIDS or some STD or STI. You understand what I'm saying? Some of you could have also been some video vixen, or could have had many lovers. All right, in your previous life cycle, you could have, Pisces rising. You same as Pisces rising. You're very beautiful and attractive. You have the ideal beauty. No matter what race you're from or what region you're from, you have the ideal beauty, right? And so you attract a lot of lovers. And so you tend to feel loved and adored by people, right? In this life cycle, you are being called to be the nurturing one, the one who is adoring people, right? And doting on people. It's the balance, like I said. So moving on to Scorpio, in your previous life cycle, you tend to overanalyze things or overthink, right? And the thinking, that's why I said the placements, they are very important, because people, they say that Libra is a beautiful frequency. All the frequencies are beautiful, but it's the aspects, the placements that they're found, right? And so I found that Libra's sun, these people tend to abuse power, right? Because they got that Libra frequency, and so they tend to um seem favored in some way, because it's that Libran frequency. And people tend to rush to them because they've got that public image or persona, and it's really just about fame and all of that. And so you may find a lot of Libran sons, they don't have real friends. It's people who are around them for their clout and so on and so forth. But because they got so much attention, they tend to think mostly on their desires, okay, themselves. And they've got this strong desire for wealth. Strong desire for wealth. That's your moon placement, Scorpio. And whether your actual moon sign is Libra moon or not, the fact that you're a Scorpio sun, you're still pulling on moon in Libra. Okay? Because I've noticed this with a lot of Scorpio sun people. They are obsessed with wealth. And that's because they feel like You know, they carry that Libran feeling, okay? Of, you know, thinking about themselves only, thinking about whatever it is that they desire, which is wealth. And damn the expense, damn anybody else. All right? So these people, you know, Libra Sun, you know, the perfect placement, I'm gonna say, for Libra, and I'm not tooting my own horn, is Mercury in Libra. Okay? Mercury in Libra, because that speaks that you cannot get away from being fear. You are fear. You were born with a fear mentality. You always be weighing because you worship justice. Because you are justice. Your subconscious is justice. And if you destroy that justice, you destroy your mind. And so Mercury in Libra, they tend to be really fear-minded. It's like the perfect placement for Libra. That's what I've discovered and found. Because Libra in certain placements is very cruel. And I've come across a lot of people who got Sun in Libra, and they tend to be very cruel. Very cruel. They don't really care about people. They just care about, you know, their appearances, their beauty, wealth, their reputation. That's all they care about. I don't even think they care about themselves. They don't value themselves, you know. They value wealth. That's what they value. Right? And so you carry an air of that, Scorpio Sun. All right? And that is why, you know, to the public, you've got that, you know, for some of you, you may come off crooked or like you're a thief. You may have that persona, but for some of you, you come off as like CEOs or bosses. But that's not who you are, but that's how you come off, right? Because you tend to pull in a lot of resources, and a lot of you know, through manipulation, you know, tend to pull in a lot of support, and you tend to use, you know, what you're passionate about, that sex frequency, you know, that you, and that's why you project yourself as a sex symbol, okay? With that ego in Scorpio, that's you projecting yourself, all right, as sex. And some of you, you know, as death, because there are some Scorpios who are so obsessed with death. And, you know, I would say sex and death, even when they're, you know, impotent, they are obsessed with sex nonetheless, because that's their frequency. hmm So, you know, Scorpio, you come off as very prissy and, you know, um, needy and all of that. And, you know, and for some of you, wealthy, right? But that's because in your previous life cycle, you were um, married, and that's why you came off as such, right? Some of you in your previous life cycle, um, like, you know, say for example, in this life cycle, you're an executioner, right? That's because, you know, or a mortician, you know, you in a previous life cycle, you could have been an officer, right? Some of you could have been a police officer in your previous life cycle. Now you what? A soldier. You're dealing with death. For some of you, um, you could have been heavily involved in the judiciary system. You could have been a lawyer, right? In your previous life cycle. And, you know, that brought wealth into your current life cycle. Like I said, for some of you, this could be a contract, whether it's a work contract that, you know, yeah, you're born with this, you know, entitled, you know, frequency of entitlement because you were, you know, doted on, you know, in your previous life cycle with that Libran frequency. All right? You had a sense of fame to you, right? So some of you are definitely a, you know, a lawyer, a district attorney, prosecutor, not gonna say judge. This could be a rapper, a DJ, a, you know, lyricist, a ghostwriter, a married individual, right? Yeah. And that's why you're being called into, this life cycle to, relieve yourself of contracts. All right. So in your past life, say for example, on a, more mundane level, you were married, because that's not the be all or end all of anything, let's say you were married in this, lifetime. You're supposed to be a mistress, right? It's the balance. It's the balance. It's so that we get, a taste of, um, everybody's experiences, so we can be able to relate to each other more. And like I said, there are cycles within cycles, right? So within this, specific life cycle, within this specific life cycle, um, maybe prior to turning 30, you were married, you know, and now that you're 30 years and older, you know, you're now divorced. You're now, living a single life, right? And this is so that you can have the experience of being a wife as well as being a matey, right? And that's why I say to people, wow, this is so profound. This is like a paradigm shift that I'm having, because I don't premeditate anything prior to coming on here. This is like a paradigm shift. Oh my God. Because the whole mistress shit, I never really liked that shit, but I've been married before. I've been married before. And I love the institution of marriage, because for me it's a form of safety. It makes me feel like I can focus on my job, what I'm doing. I've already got the marriage thing unlocked. I've already got a household, a family, and I need to focus on my job now to feed and to care for that family. I never really saw myself being a mistress, but I would be the ones cussing out. I would be, one of them ones cussing out the mistresses and telling them that I'm careless. But I'm having a paradigm shift now, because we are all supposed to feel how it is like walking in someone else's shoes, right? And so that's why when you were the mistress, you should have humbled yourself. You should have humbled yourself when you were the mistress, so that when you become the wife now, you get a quicker and sweeter justice. If there happens to be a mistress, and there's always a mistress, and that's the other paradigm shift that I'm having. There's always a mistress, and there will always be a mistress. So am I saying every man is a cheater? If he's not cheating physically, he sure is mentally. I'm telling you. And you women too. You may deny this, but if it's at least once, or even for a brief 5 minutes, You cheated on your partner. So basically, none of us is perfect. Wow. But this is so beautiful and profound. You know, I kind of feel a bit relieved because you know why am I say this? Because I've been married before, and you know though the partner you know did a lot of petty and cruel things to me, I I wouldn't say the divorce was devastating. Of course, when I realized that you know this fairy tale fantasy that I've always had of um finding you know that special person who you know is gonna love me entirely, you know, wholeheartedly, you know, never desiring to look on any other woman but me. I'm the apple of his eye, you know, and him vice versa for me. I have that love in me for people. I'm a hermit. I don't like spreading my energies thin, right? But then I realized, you know, that world that I thought, you know, was coming together was actually falling apart. And it was like towers crumble down. And it's like you find yourself in a state of oblivion because you built a world that you were living in, and that world is destroyed. So you're basically in a fucking abyss, pure darkness. And that's how it was, but it didn't last for long. I think I move on quite easy from people because for me, as long as I realize that you don't care about me, you're just wasting my time, you're not a loving person, you're not fair overall, it's quite easy for me to move on from you. It's quite easy because I want the best for myself. I love myself. And for me, once I realize you're not such a nice person, it's really not hard for me to move on. Because I want to be with a nice person, you know? And, you know, once, you know, the grief of what I thought was non-fiction, but it was really fiction. Once I processed that grief, which is why it's important to introspect. I realized, you know, I didn't want that way of life for my sons. I don't want them to grow up and think that it's okay for a man to abuse a woman. And I noticed when I was with my ex-spouse that my sons, they were very abusive towards me. Yep. They would put up a lot of, you know, temper tantrums, even when I was at the supermarket with them, even when I'm on the road with them. And they would, you know, hit me and pound me, smack me and kick me, even bite me, right? And cuss me out like spoiled brats. And I sat back and I started to analyze, psychoanalyze. And I'm like, they love their father. He's a good father, but a horrible husband. And I guess he's a horrible father because he's a horrible husband. Because you're not teaching your sons how to be good husbands. As that's not a good lesson for them to learn on their own, right? And so I thought to myself, these are boys who are going to become men. I don't want them to be a plague or a torment to any other woman, to any woman like their father was to me. I want when my sons get older and they decide to get married, That woman, I'm not looking for praise. I want that woman to respect me because of the quality men that I reared. You understand what I'm saying? Too many of you women, especially black women, don't have no ambition. You don't care how people see you, because you're wicked as hell. And you influence your sons to do wickedness. But despite of them horrible experiences, I'm never going to wish that on another woman. I want everybody to find love, beautiful love. I love seeing people in love. And that's never going to change. Even if I should become a mistress. Anywho, so I'm going to move on to Pisces. So Scorpio, you were married in your past life. Your current lifetime, with if you had your Saturn return, or if not, your next lifetime you are gonna be a mistress, whether or not you want it. There's no, nuptials coming for you. Just accept that. That's why it's very important to know yourselves and to study to show thyself approved, right? Of being worthy to exist upon this beautiful earth, right? So, I know everybody born. We listen, and you see, and it's the balance of marriage and divorce. Because you were married in a, well, this isn't for everybody still. This is just for those who got sun in Scorpio. And that can go for Chinese zodiac as well. And I recently discovered something, I don't know how to explain it, but once I'm able to explain it, I will relate to you. Because though I'm a Virgo, I was born in the year of the snake, I realized that I'm also a Scorpio sun. And the way in which I figured this out, you see, you just book a reading, yeah? I'm not gonna, because you're so fucking ungrateful anyways. All you haters will watch. And I'm just doing it because it's my life purpose. You understand what I'm saying? But this isn't something that I have to explain to you guys anyways. But yeah, you're born in the year of the snake, but there's something more, right? There's an additive to that. Once I'm able to explain this additive, I'll relate with you guys. But I feel like I would rather sell this knowledge. How is this? Pisces, Sun rising, North Node. So once you have your Saturn return, or in this lifetime, you are a spiritualist. Alright, let me just say that you're a spiritualist in this life cycle, right? And in your previous life cycle, you were Aquarius, the water bearer. You ushered in who you are now. Who you were then ushered in who you are now. Because Aquarius is the water bearer, which precedes Pisces, which you are now. Right? In your previous life cycle, you could have been a humanitarian, a scientist, an astrologer, yeah? A star. Alright? Well known and all of that. In this life cycle, you're being called to, be more stoic, to be more connected to your spirit. You're being called to focus on your beliefs and the spiritual realm. Right? So you're not being Aquarius. In the past life, you used to move up and down all over the place. And that could, like I said, be in this incarnation. It doesn't have to be from a previous previous carnation. It can be in this carnation, right? Prior to becoming, 30, you used to travel a lot. You were a humanitarian or an astrologer, all right? For some of you, you could have been a scientist. Anything Aquarius frequency. Right? For some of you, you could have been very detached. In this life cycle, you're being called to be more stoic. Pull on, that hermit frequency and be more recluse. Right? So you're being called to be stoic. Right? To meditate more. To connect more with your spirit family, your soul tribes, right? You're being called to heal as well, right? Pulling on that Virgo frequency and your water sign, use that Virgo frequency to heal with your water, your healing waters, right? So you're being called, to use that ego, the way in which you project yourself, so caring and nurturing, yeah, that's who you're supposed to be in your next life cycle, because in your previous life cycle you were very detached and selfish. Some of you were selfish too. Alright? You're not being called to be selfish anymore. But in your previous life cycle, Pisces, if you're wondering why you're being called to be a certain way now, why your traveling has been restricted and limited, that is because you're not supposed to be moving up and down again, because you did that already. It's the balance, right? It's the balance, right? So you've been detached, start, kind of attached to the collective right now, and start healing people. The energy that you're projecting, that caring, healing frequency, you need to be in that frequency now, because you were rather selfish in your previous life cycle. And for some of you, it's not that you were selfish. You used to move up and down and help people too much, and now it's time to relax and rest, right? For some of you, could have been a scientist. Now you're being called to be a healer, because we know for truth, and in fact a lot of these scientists don't really care about healing people. Those Aquarius frequency, but they don't necessarily pull on that humanitarian aspect. They can pull on the selfish, self-centered aspect, which is it pulling from its opposite frequency, Leo. It's all about you, right? And so, it's not all about the science now. It's about really healing people. All right? It's not about making money off of them vaccines and, prescriptions and medications. It's about really healing people this time, right? So, you were a scientist, for some of you, astrologer, like I said, a humanitarian, like I said, in your previous lifetime. Moving on to the air signs, okay? We've got Gemini. All right, so Gemini, in your previous life cycle, you were you probably used to, in your previous life cycle, you know why you love to talk so much, Geminis? Now I realize. In your previous life cycle, you were the Hierophant. You were a Hierophant of some kind. Right? So people used to listen to you. And so you come into this life cycle being a chatterbox. And that's why it's important for you to not stay living in your south node, which is your past life. South, S-O-U-T-H, south, inverse of north, okay? Not south node. South node, okay? So if you continue living in that south node, that's why a lot of you lives are stagnant and miserable. I might not be making a lot of money right now, but I feel at peace. And I'm going with the flow. And the money will come because I'm walking the walk and talking the talk. Because I know myself and I know who I'm supposed to be and who I am. That's why someone is so stagnant and miserable. And even if you have wealth, you're miserable because you're not in your north node. So you manage to acquire some wealth by not, walking your north node. It's not going to last for long. I'm telling you that. I'm not asking you. And 2, that is why you're so miserable. Because you didn't get it the way you're supposed to get it. You feel me? So, in your previous lifetime, you used to, make decisions. Yeah, you used to, build foundations and systems, right? And I guess, for some of you feel like you know the ins and outs of these systems, especially where the family is concerned. Well, everything about Taurus: beauty, the family. This could be jobs, this could be, authority. So you guys talk a lot about that, right? Because you feel like you know everything about it. Because in your past life, you did help to build it, right? You did help to build these systems. And you come into this lifetime being really communicative about the systems that you built, right? But though you got that Gemini frequency, remember that is just your self node. You were very vocal in your past life. So especially when you were younger, Gemini, if you're the age of 30 or older, especially when you were younger, you used to talk really firm and loud and, stern, you know. Some of you could have even been, the head of some secret society. Freemasonry for some of you. You could have been the head of the Freemasonry, a Freemason. You could have started the Freemason. You could have been the first Freemason. But for a lot of you in this current life cycle, you've been descended. Gemini Sun, you're not supposed to be in any place of power. Yeah? I'm gonna talk about that for the next for your next life cycle. But because a lot of you abuse your power. Maybe because you started this system or the Freemason. Maybe because you were the first Freemason, you manipulated your gifts and your abilities. Yeah, man, a lot of you abuse your power. So that could be prior to you turning 30. You abuse your power and use a Gemini. You see how stupid these people are, online. I don't even know if I made mention of it. No, I did not. I did on my Instagram, I did an interview with the Gleaner Company for the Star, the Jamaica Star. And, I didn't even look at the article on Instagram because I didn't even call to mind that they're on Instagram. The link was sent to me by one of the writer, and I preed I preed. Well, I looked at the interview. I read the interview on Chrome, which they made two, errors where they're supposed to be self node, they put self node, and where they're supposed to put natal chart, they put natal track. But I surmise it could have been just a typo error, right? But I saw a guy that kind of familiar with yesterday at the supermarket, and he was informing me that he saw the article. He saw me, uh, on their account, on their page. That he saw the interview, and I just felt compelled to go and look at it. And so I went and I looked at it, and I wasn't taken aback by the comments, the arrogant and ignorant comments. You feel me? I wasn't taken aback. Because it's what I've been preaching for like the longest time. The ignorance and the arrogance of black people. Because look at this. You have gifts and abilities that you are abusing. Some of you subconsciously. Your spirit know, and you don't like somebody, you envy them, and you just, your spirit, because you have a hateful spirit, you subconsciously tap into manipulating the gifts and talents that you have and using people and hurting people. And you don't know that once you have your Saturn return, it's judgment. It's curse time for you. And now I realize why, Gemini sons, they have, a lot of them tend to have, well, it's a cursed destiny, let me just say that. Not going around the table. Some people may not like that, but it's true. You can get wealth, but the wealth that, you could get, you will not get. Yeah? If that makes sense to you. The smart ones will catch on. And a lot of you destined for, bankruptcy and poverty. Gemini and Taurus. Right? I'm going to explain that more in the other video. Right? As to who it is you are being called to become or be in your next lifetime. Right? So, Geminis, you were, a foundation, a leader that people respected or looked up to. Now, this can be in any walk of life. Get your natal chart, book a natal chart reading, and I can specifically tell you what kind of leader you are. Whether you were actually the first Freemason, all right, or if you were just a part of that. Moving on to Libra Sun. All right, in your previous life cycle, you were a model. Right? Some of you were models. Some of you were investigators. Some of you were maids, helpers. Some of you were could have been therapists pulling on that Pisces frequency. Right? Psychologists, because Virgo, that thoughtful aspect of Mercury. You guys know how to think up a storm. You know how to to get into the minds and psyche of people, and that's why you're such a gift. But Libra Sun, rising North Node. So you were a model in your past life. You're not supposed to be one now, right? Yeah, I think that's it. Some of you were, models in your past life, but you're not supposed to be a model in this lifetime. You're supposedly, I guess, supposed to be married in your current lifetime, right? Do you see how this shit goes? This is so fucking weird. It's like a cycle. So you see, it's so silly when you get up and you tease people. It just don't make no fucking sense. That's why I was born into this lifetime knowing that, mocking and jeering people don't make any sense. Even if they did you wrong and you get injustice over them, it don't make no sense. You run and rejoice. Because the most I tell you, vengeance is easy, and when he's chastising our enemies, we must not laugh. We must leave the laughing to him. And he tells us that he sees the end of the wicked, and he laugh. because they're not more supreme than he is. He created them, but yet they pretend or act as if they're smarter than him, or they created him. And that when you see shit like that, when you know you're smarter than people and you're more knowledgeable than people, and they act like they're more knowledgeable than you just laugh. You don't need to combat them or quarrel with them. You just laugh because it's it's funny. But look at this, the model was, a temptress, who became a model and then who became a spouse, right? But this spouse, end up become a mistress. You see the connection right there? And that's why it don't make any sense that we compete against each other. Because we all eventually become each other. So that we can relate to each other. This is really, it's really something. So Libra Sun, rising and North Node, if it is that you were a model in your previous, life cycle, you're supposed to get married now. So if you try to live outside of a contract or to get involved with someone outside of a contract, it's not going to pan out good for you. Alright? It's not gonna pan out good for you. If you continue, with the whole, previous energy, shit. Yeah. Also, for some of you, you could have been, really helpful in your previous life cycle. You're being called now to stop that. Of course, I will, further discuss in the video that will follow this one. Right? So, if you were, helpful, for some of you, though, maybe you're being called not to be so helpful again. Right? To be more prissy and relaxed and to be a married man or a married woman. So the attention is time to, to just, it's no more you thinking about yourself only and your desires and what you want. It's now time to think about a partner. Right? Alright, so moving on to Aquarius then. Rising and North Node. Right? You were a CEO, a big boss in your past life, right? For some of you, you were thieves, right? That's also an aspect of the Capricorn frequency, all right? But nonetheless, some of you were, owners of corporations or businesses, all right? You were not homemakers. And, with that being said, or you were the owner of your own company, right? You worked on your own or something like that. Yeah, you didn't. You worked by yourself. But in, the next cycle, I'm just trying to connect to the next cycle. So when I come to the other video, it would be like me continuing where I left off. In the next cycle, is you're being called to detach. You're not supposed to be an entrepreneur anymore, a CEO, a big boss. You're called to be detached from all of that. Focus more on your beliefs. Think more on spirituality. Yeah. So, the appetite that you have for money and wealth and all of that, probably because you're a Libra rising and you love the whole prissiness and all of that, you're being called to, walk away from that, detach from that. Alright? So moving on, some of you could have also been a parent too. A parent in your past life. in this lifetime. So, you know, maybe for some of you, you're gonna lose a child. Maybe a child is going to die for you. A child that you've been hiding. I don't know why people hide their children, you know. And you know what I realize? People tend to hide their children because a lot of people, you know, I know people, some people, they hide their children because, you know, they know that the world is messed up and they know how people can be, especially with their witchcraft and hexes and shit. But once you're a good soul, you don't need to worry about that shit. And so I really find that a lot of people who hide their children, or people who tend to hide their children, are wicked parents. And parents who don't really even love their children. Because if you really check it out, you know, once you have a child and you love that child, oh my gosh, man, you just want to, you want to show that child to the whole world, you know? Go away, get out. So, some people, they hide their children. Nobody knows that they're parents. Nobody. But sometimes you can tell by, you know, looking into their natal charts. Sometimes nobody know that they're parents. Because, you know, it's the frequencies that they carry. Some people, they just want to be detached. And don't be surprised, you know, if some of these, their children die, they won't feel a damn thing. Because the fact that they hide their children, it synchronizes with the fact that they hate their children. I'm telling you. Now that may sound blunt, but it is what it is, right? So a lot of them, they hide the children because they hate them, because they don't believe in family. They don't love family. They believe in being free and, you know, free to roam. You understand what I'm saying? And so Aquarius sun, you guys love to hide. Yeah, you guys love to hide and you love to feel detached and free. You don't want nothing hold you down. And that's why you don't like children, right? And if you have a child, you don't like your child and you always be hiding your child. You understand what I'm saying? Especially, you know, Aquarius sun and Aquarius rising. Okay, I'm Aquarius North Node, but I hide my children for their protection. You understand me? Because like I said, the sun in Aquarius, rising in Aquarius, North Node in Aquarius, though we all like to hide. We hide for different reasons, right? Now, my job entails me being in the public and having fame and a lot of people seeing me. But I'm also a hermit, very personal. And I don't like to share the intimate aspects of my life with the whole world. I like to be personal and private. I like my public persona to be just that. I'm a very balanced person. Now, if I hide my children, it's not that I don't love them, right? It's because they're not involved in what I do for a living. And I've come across too many wicked ass people. I used to share my, you know, my sons on social media. I used to share their photos. And, you know, it was something I was always skeptical about, you know, because it's like subconsciously I always knew that people, you know, could take your pictures from off the internet and, you know, work voodoo or witchcraft on them pictures, right? And it's like I always never really desired, you know, posting, you know, like pictures of loved ones and them stuff, you know. And, you know, I actually proved that, you know, assumption to be correct. People are really cruel. They don't like you. You post your children on social media. They take their pictures and they try to hurt them. But, you know, I protect my kids. I protect my sons. But you still have to be cautious. You know, don't, you know, test the Lord your God. Or don't tempt him. Alright? When he gives you the knowledge, the epiphany that, you know, don't do something, just listen and don't do it. Don't do it and then pray to God to protect you. Don't do that. That's, you know, you tempting God or putting him to test. But there are some people, they have a habit of hiding their children because they feel ashamed of them. They don't want people to know that they're a parent. Everybody knows that I'm a parent. I have told the whole fucking world. I got 2 sons. Right? But there are a lot of people on social media, they pretend as though they're single and free. and they're not. Right? Sometimes maybe if you listen closely in the background, some of them noises, could be coming from the things and the people and their children that they're hiding. They don't even mention their children. And these ones are the wicked ones. You know why? Because they don't want their enemies to know that they got children. But then again, maybe they could, secretly love the kid, which I guess is the whole point why they hide the child. Because they're doing wickedness, but they don't want their enemies to know that they've got, a soft spot, a weak spot. They're hiding a child. Okay? They're hiding a child. And a lot of people, they do that. But some people, it's really because they want to seem unattached, detached from responsibilities and all of them stuff. And that's why they hide their children. And it's so for them, for a lot of them, so that they can continue their whoredom. Hide the kid, the potential mate don't even fucking know that they got a kid. Okay? And they probably, leave the kid at their mom's or, some friends or, some relative or blah, blah, blah. So they can go out and, act as if they are, single. Because for them, it's, they are going to come off more appealing or more attractive. Especially if the person they're interested in is interested in someone who's got kids. So, for them, it's going to make them more appealing if they come off as one who, don't got any responsibilities, who don't got kids. But responsibilities, they are what, perfect. They improve us. They improve or, emotions as human beings, the way in which we relate to people. Responsibilities, they help to make us better people. I don't understand or see why people run away from responsibilities. They keep you grounded. Okay? They help to keep you balanced, especially when you're an air sign. They help to keep you balanced, because if you don't got anything to keep you stable or balanced, you're just going to be all over the fucking place until you catch AIDS or something. Alright? Moving on to the earth signs, Taurus. In your previous life cycle, you were a manager of some kind, or overseer or supervisor. Right? In your current lifetime, you are a hierophant. That's who you are, a hierophant, a leader. Alright? So it's as though, you are promoted. And we're all always being promoted, because, well, it all depends on the placement, the arrangement of, the frequencies, right, in your natal chart. Because it is not everyone that has their houses in order. I said that already. Alright? But, you were, you were a little boss, supervisor, manager, taking, little trainings and, gaining little knowledge and so on and so forth. And so, that it all depends, because not all of you going move up to a place of power, right? Where you can have talk, you rule the throat, the vocal cords, right? But, if you learn your lessons well, I think I spoke to Aries, right? If you learn your lessons well as a supervisor, a manager, so on and so forth, not being stuck in that Pisces frequency, belief system and the previous beliefs that you've acquired and so on and so forth. It's a new cycle. So we're on to new shit. You on to new shit. So if you, learn them lessons properly from the previous lifetime, then, you're moving on to, a place of power, of being the hierophant, somebody whose words matter. Okay? From being an excellent supervisor, and this could be an excellent spouse, a husband, All right. So your promotion depends on how you performed in your test. Life is lesson, school of hard knocks life. All right. So you were a supervisor, a manager, a little boss, a owner of a small company in your previous life cycle. If you learned the lessons well, you can have a fixed place in the matrix or in the system, in this physical realm. That is going to be long lasting and traditional, becoming a new form of tradition, because as I said in previous videos, traditions are being changed. Traditions and norms are being changed, right? So, all right. So you're coming from being all bossed up and all of that, if you know, learned your lessons well from the big boss, because the big boss is the teacher, Capricorn, El Capitan, right? Capricorn is the big boss, and you know, that's Saturn, where our lessons are. Aries, the little boss, you feel me, is where the lessons they begin. All right. And if you learned them lessons the beginning of the session, then you advance. And as you keep learning within each frequency, you keep advancing. If you keep focusing on the preceding energies or frequencies, you're going to be stagnant, you're going to be stuck, and you will not progress. Moving on to Virgo, okay? All right. So Virgo, the snake, Sheila, excuse me, Virgo the snake, in your previous lifetime, you were a temptress, okay? So sexy, and you received a lot of attention. Alright, you could have been famous too. For some of you, you were a celebrity, okay? And that's why in this lifetime you're the hermit, because you're really tired of the exposure and the attention, and you just want to relax. Because, you know, once you've had a taste of a particular frequency and you've had enough for that particular lifetime, to the point in which you die or you transform, or you transform, you're gonna want, you know, to feel something different. It's the balance of life. And so with getting so much attention, Leo frequency, that's the sun, baby, right? You just want to be a bit in the dark. You just want to be a hermit. All right, you just want to just think, you know, maybe, you know, think back on all them things, but you just don't want to experience them anymore. You've been there. Like for me, I can say specifically, I know that, you know, I'm coming from royalty, and that's why certain things, they don't seem to, you know, frighten me. They don't seem to surprise me or anything. I'm coming from a place where I received a lot of attention, and that's why the attention, it thickens me right now. And that's why I find it so hard being out into public spaces or places, right? And people, they still see me as that celebrity, that star, the sun, not the Aquarius star, the sun, the star, you know? They still see me as that, and that's why they're so drawn to me. But I'm tired of serving the public. I kind of, yeah, serve the public, yeah, because Virgo is an aid, an ally, and, you know, a help, a gift. But I want to do that in secret, okay? The public, I know the public so well now, and it's a lot of bullshit. So Virgo, the snake, you were a celebrity in your previous lifetime. Some of you, you know, could have been, you know, musicians, singers, and so on and so forth. And that's why I don't play too well into the musical aspect of my life. Because I realize that, you know, I'm coming from this life. I'm coming from royalty. I'm coming from being on the stage. I'm coming from, you know, getting attention. You know, I'm coming from the spotlight. And I feel really exhausted. Though, you know, I'm just a little over 30. I still feel the energies of my previous life lifetime, and it makes me feel sick sometimes to be in public, like literally sick, nauseating, and so on and so forth. um so I must say I am, what do they call that again, dangerously introverted. Okay, I think it's, and some people will call it social anxiety. It's from getting too much of one frequency, yeah, and so you're saturated and collide of that shit. Some of you were, yeah, temptresses, I said. Some of you were warlocks, and now you are Hecate, the witch. Yeah? So you're coming from being a warlock, where anything you see, you can get and you want. You get anything you see and you want, you can get it because you got that frequency that pulls it. So, you tend to be really dainty. Virgos tend to be really dainty and really posh. Not posh in a stuck up sense, but just really laid back because of coming from royalty and being royal. Once royal, once a royal, always a royal. All when they say then kick you out, you will always be a royal because that's who you are. And your family, your royal family, is not necessarily the family you were born in. It's your soul tribe, your soul family. That's your family. So once you find your real soul mother, your real soul father, your real soul sisters and brothers, they will bear similar frequencies to you of regal, of royalty, right? And being regal, right? So saying that I come from royalty don't mean that the particular physical family that I was born into or raised into is that family of royalty. I'm not talking that. I'm talking that spirit that I came from, that I stem from, is the spirit of royalty. As it is with Virgos. And that's why Virgos represent perfection. Right? And that's why Virgos, they got a balanced appetite. Because once you're used to something, you're not frightened for it. A lot of people out there, they're gluttonous because they are, what do you call it, commoners. They're not used to having certain things, and so having them in this lifetime now, they're what now you call Frightened Fridays, right? So Virgo, the model, have this beautiful, regal, royal image of beauty and prissiness and always getting what she wants or what he wants, but that's because we don't used to getting everything that we wanted in our previous lifetimes, right? This could have been a previous incarnation, right? And so you're born into this lifetime not having the passion for certain things, because ever since I've been a child, I never had the passion for wealth. I always wanted to work. I loved helping. I loved, I loved helping, especially like my mom and my sisters. I loved help. Even strangers. I just loved helping people in general. And I never, desired, or had a craving for wealth. I wanted to create my own business, but that was just out of being independent because I like being in my own space. I don't like having managers or overseers over me. I work best when I'm alone. I perform best because I'm a perfectionist, and the mind, rule the mind, the thoughtful area aspect of Mercury, though Gemini is the air sign, but Gemini is the words, right? Those are more tangible than the thoughts. That's why I said Virgo is that earthy air sign, right? But we think a lot, and because we think a lot, we tend to overanalyze. And so when you love to think, you love to fix. And so you don't need to tell me what to fix. I will know what to fix. I will hear what to fix. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And so Virgo, they're very competent working on their own. If you got Virgo employees, those who are vibrating at a positive frequency, not pulling on that stoic Pisces frequency, which can make them seem lazy, right? But once you are vibrating at that positive Virgo frequency, you don't need a manager, an overseer, or a boss. Even if you work for one, you don't need them to oversee you. And you will ensure that you put out the work for the money or the salary that you're getting, because you know you pull on that Libran aspect frequency, right? Especially if you got Mercury in Libra, the 6th house in Libra, then you know that you fear minded, your thoughts all about being fear. So you don't need nobody to watch you because you're not an extortionist. You're not going to come at the people and work, pala the people and work, sit down and skylock, and still expect to collect a check. Alright? The real balance, yeah, Virgos, they're not like that. Yeah, not like that. Beyonce, she's a Virgo sun, a Leo moon. Yeah, no, not Leo moon, Scorpio moon, Leo rising. Alright, and Virgos and Scorpios, they are so much alike. You have no idea. Right? And but that Leo aspect though, you know, it would have been so much sweeter had it been a Leo moon that she had, you know. A beautiful synchronicity right there. But she's a perfectionist. Well, that's, you know, Virgo sun, Scorpio moon. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's the Leo rising. Alright, the Leo rising may make her seem as though she's not that hardworking, but she is with that Virgo sun. Alright, and that Scorpio moon. I don't even know her north node. I don't remember. Maybe I looked it up. Moving to Capricorn. Capricorn, sun rising north node. In your previous lifetime, you were you could have been really generous. And that's why a lot of you Capricorns, you know, you might even come, if you're coming into this lifetime being generous same way, you might find yourself go bankrupt. Because that's Sagittarius frequency, okay? That's your past life. Right? For some of you, you used to travel a lot. You were a traveler. In this lifetime, you need to sit your ass down and build, because you are a CEO, a boss. And you cannot run up and down and move up and down all over the place and build, because people will rob you. And it's not everybody got that Virgo frequency where in which they are fear, or Libra in, or Mercury in Libra, where in which they are fear to oversee and watch your shit. And not fuck it up. So for you, as a CEO, a big boss, whether you want to born in the year the rooster, or you want to be a sun Capricorn as to you know, being born, let me see, December 21 to, you know, January 18, yeah. Or if you want to have Capricorn rising or Capricorn north node, you are supposed to be stable. Okay, that's your energy, your current lifetime energy in this lifetime, to be stable. You're an earth sign, just like Taurus is supposed to be building. Yeah, in the past, Taurus used to move up and down a lot and oversee and watch things and all of that. Probably talk to. In this lifetime, you supposed to more watch and build. Watch and build. In your past life, you used to travel a lot, or you used to watch more than build, right? But you need to, that's the connection between Taurus and Capricorn, because the Capricorn need the Taurus, because Taurus is the builder, right? And you know, rightly so, because it already passed through that frequency, so it knows all about building. It knows all about helping, passing through Virgo, right? It knows all about, you know, helping and thinking and planning. So in your past life too, you could have been very generous. You could have even been a mediator, but now you're being called to be somewhat more selfish and focus on your business. You have a business building, focus on your business, right? Of course, having, you know, already gone through Virgo frequency, you being the planner, the thinker, the analyzer, the analyst, you know, you need to pull on that and, you know, figure out the resources that you need. Figure out the resources that you need to execute the business plan that you got. The people that you need. Alright, but outside of that, You're not really being called to give anybody any handouts. Alright? Unless this is a business associate or this is some business contract or work agreement. This is a business for you. You're called to be more austere. Not to be frivolous. Alright? You may feel like giving and being generous to, a lot of people. It's still good for us to be generous, but it is only when it, falls within our purpose and our north node. Right? So like for you, the generosity is to be extended, to what? Your employees or your business associates. Alright? So you're supposed to be thoughtful. Think about your associates. Right? So you're a businessman, you're thinking about association, right? Pulling on that Aquarius frequency. And so you reaching out and extending your arm is all about business, baby, because you are the CEO and you cannot mix business with pleasure. Alright? So, Rat, that's you, Aries, Mr. Rat. You were a spiritualist in your past life. Mr. Dragon, that's you, Leo. You were a homemaker, occultist, nurturer in your past life. And healer as well. As well as for Pisces. Both of you got healing frequency. So, yeah. Sagittarius, you were, wealthy in your past life. You were a mistress in your past life. You were heavily supported in your past life. You could have been a mortician in your past life. Like I said, a mistress. For some of you, a prostitute. For some of you, this could be a porn star. For some of you, this could be an executioner. Anything having to do with death, sex, and transformation. Alright? For Cancer, in your past life, you, for some of you, though you're a parent now, you could have been a sibling, or, even if you're not a parent now, you are supposed to be a parent, whether in this, current cycle or your next life cycle, right? Some of you were also, could have been, paparazzi, journalists. That's rabbit. You rabbit people I'm talking about. Fuck, I keep mixing up the shit. So, Aries, you're the rat. Okay, you are a spiritualist. Okay, a healer. Alright? A doctor. Cancer, you were a nurturer. You were more of a healer in the nurturing sense. Well, Leo, I should say. You were more of a, healer in terms of being a parent or a nurturer. Leo the dragon. Now on to Sag the monkey, like I said. Grim Reaper. Mortician and, porn star shit. Mistress shit. Cancer the rabbit. I want you guys to get familiar with the Chinese astrology title of each of these frequencies. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I went over. Cancer, you're the bunny rabbit, alright? You deal with the breeding and the home and, healing and, nurturing and all of that. And in your past life, you were, you were a sibling to someone. You probably, spent a lot of time with your nieces and nephews and so on and so forth. But in your next life cycle or this one, you're being called to be a parent. Some of you were a district attorney. Some of you, yeah, you were a DA, devil's advocate. Alright, your past life. Some of you could have worked in communication, social media, the internet. Like I said, paparazzi. Paparazzo. I think Bender said that in Futurama. Paparazzo. What's so? Paparazzo. Moving on to, the goat, Scorpio. In your past life, you were married or you were, bound to some form of contract. Some of you were lawyers, some of you were prosecutors, all right? Some of you were ghostwriters, lyricists, rappers, DJs. Pisces, uh, the pig, okay? Pisces are the pig. And that's because you tend to overindulge sometimes, right? Whether it's resting or smoking or drinking or sexing, you guys tend to overindulge, and that's why you're called the pig, right? Try not to, live up to that reputation and try to find the balance. Pull on that Virgo frequency, yeah. And it's good to rest, but it's also good to help. All right. So in your past life, the pig, all right, piggy wiggy. You were a humanitarian, astrologer, scientist, doctor, okay, cosmologist, astronomer, all right. Gemini, the tiger. You were, a leader, like I said, a hierophant, someone very respectable in your past life. All right, it could be a leader of from any walk of life, and so therefore it really doesn't make any sense to pinpoint, but could be specifically a teacher. You could have been a teacher, all right, prior to your Saturn return. You could, whether this is because Taurus is a teacher. That's the connection between Taurus and Sagittarius, right? But Taurus is more of the classroom teacher. All right, Sagittarius is more of the fleeting, the traveling teacher, right? Like a tourist that you come across that teaches something about a different country, the country that they're from. That's still teaching. All right. So you could have been, whether even a tutor, yeah, you were a teacher of some sort. All right. Libra, in your past life, you were a model. Some of you were maids, helpers. Some of you were investigators, stalkers, private PIs, private investigators. All right. Some of you were also students, studious, the faithful and obedient student, okay? Gemini, you're like the chatty student, but Virgo is the studious, quiet, obedient one. All right, so you could have been either of those. Libra, a model, a maid, a helper, a PI, a spy, so on and so forth. Aquarius, oh, Libra, you are, Gemini is a tiger. Libra, you are the horse. Alright? Try to cut your speed sometime. Aquarius, the dog. So faithful and loyal. Oh my God. So Aquarius, in your past life, some of you were, like I said, CEOs, entrepreneurs, owners of your own businesses, your own big bosses, okay? Some of you could have also been crooks, okay? White collar thieves, right? Heavy, thievery, heavy scamming, yeah. To the fires, to the earth signs, Taurus, the ox, okay? I know some Taurus, even though it's the sign of stability, because it represents the earth Gaia, a lot of them really aren't. And that's because a lot of them are living in their past lives. I realize that. A lot of them are living in that Aries frequency, that, fleeting fire frequency. After coming out from being so stoic with that Pisces frequency, being so, what you call it, youthful and, too swift, and to I feel like some of you are yeah, some of you are not really that stable as you project yourself, because you're still learning. You're still fucking learning, to come out of that past life frequency. So it's like you kind of a bit jaded coming from Pisces to Aries and from Aries to Taurus. But you have to learn the lessons well and allow the transitions to manifest and happen so that you can progress. Alright? Learning and knowledge is progression. So the ox, okay, in your past life, you were such a baby. Okay, some of you were a manager or supervisor. Alright? You were, um a little boss. And if you learn the lessons well, you transcend to a boss that is prestigious. You have a name for yourself, and that's all from being humble and from taking corrections and listening. So the business that you want, or the job that you want to progress, it will progress if you move out of your self node. Just move out of that self node. Right? So in the past, you were, in your past life, you were a supervisor, manager. Yeah, that's who you were. Snake. Well, I think I went over these, didn't I not? Yeah. I also wanted to touch a different factor, a different aspect of these as I was going through them. Taurus, you were, in your previous lifetime, you were someone's baby. And you were your spouse's baby. Now I don't know what happened, if they lost you or whatever, but the person that you're married to, okay, or you're desiring to marry or wed, or you are planning to wed, you are that person's baby. Virgo, in your past life, you were someone's child. Let me see whose child this was. Okay, so your spouse. Okay, your spouse, you are your spouse's child. Okay, maybe they're much younger than children. Okay, know the difference. All right, they're different frequencies. Children think differently from babies. All right. So you were you could, someone whose mistress you are. Okay, you were their child. So they could be really possessive of you. That's the reason why. Or for some of you, you might not even yet have met this person. Rooster, Capricorn, in your lifetime you were someone's teacher. Whose teacher was this? Your grandfather's teacher. You used to teach your grandfather. Okay, Capricorn. Okay, so the rat, Aries, in your past life you were a spiritual leader. Okay, and you were the spiritual leader, a spiritual leader for your mother. Okay, you were, whether this is you being a bishop, a pastor, or a spiritual guru, but Aries, you were, a spiritual leader for your mother. All right. So it is safe to say that you were above your mother. And it makes sense because it's like a swap, like I said, of these roles. Alright? It's like a reversal of, and that's why whenever we have these experiences, we must never take advantage of them. Never take advantage of them, because the truth is, it will always come back around, but in a different way. And even within these mini cycles, within this grander life cycle, it's the same thing. They always come back around. That's all right. So Leo the dragon. In your past life, you were a mother to your mother. You were your mother's mother, and that's why you came into this lifetime. You see, so playful and jovial. And some of you may even seem way more mature than your parent, than your mother, or that maternal, parent in your life could be a father. But let me just stick to mother, because I realize that with a lot of Leos, they tend to be way more mature than their mothers. As a matter of fact, I see that with all Leos. I am yet to come across a Leo that is, that is not more mature than, their mother. And it's not that they're mature. It's just that they're mature more than their, they carry that ear because they were the mother in the past life. Right? And even if they're, what do you call it, very immature or childish, they are still more mature than their mother, or they carry that air of maturity, that seemingly maturity, because they, are pulling on that frequency, because we are or past, present, and future, but it, for our north node's sake, stay in the present. All right, the past is just for reference and lessons. All right, so you were your mother's mother, Leo, the dragon. All right, so Sagittarius the monkey, you were a mistress. All right, whose mistress were you? Yeah, you were a secret mistress. Your pastor's mistress. I hope you're not still pulling on that frequency, Sagittarius. So you were mistress to your spiritual leader. Okay? You were mistress to your spiritual leader. Alright? The person you go to, or you claim to go to for spiritual guidance. Yeah. So a lot of you don't know yourselves. Yeah, and you tend to be constantly living in your self nodes. And some of you may come into this lifetime where in which you still want to become your pastor's mistress or a spiritual guru's mistress. Alright? But in your past life you were mistress to, your someone who was, spiritually guiding you. Or a secret lover. Alright? Which is same thing, mistress. Alright? Capricorn, Cancer, the rabbit. In your past life, you were someone's sibling. Whose sibling was this? This could have been someone who was the head of the Freemason. Okay, hence that's why you are the head of the occult, because you are sibling to the head of the Freemason. All right. So your sibling was very, spiritual, having been, the initiator of the Freemason, right? Um, Scorpio, okay. Scorpio, in your past life, Scorpio the goat, all right, in your past life, you were, married to your boss. So if you've got an affinity to your boss, your CEO, that's because you were married to your boss. All right. So we always, you see how our paths always intertwine or re-intertwine. And this happens lifetime after lifetime. All the people you come in contact with in each and every lifetime, they're people that you've known from the beginning. There's nothing new under the sun. That's what this is basically showing. So, Scorpio, that's why you carry yourself so sexy and, attractive and all of that. And, all of that. Because subconsciously in your spirit, you know that. You were married to the boss. You know that. Yeah, and some of you may be taking advantage of that. Because if you got an affinity to the boss, most likely he's got an affinity towards you too. Okay? Um, Pisces, the pig. In your past life, you were friends with. You were friends with a model, for one, but this can also be someone that you've always got on your mind. Yeah, some of you are friends with a Virgo. So if you are at war with a Virgo, you were friends with this Virgo in your past life. Yeah. So maybe that's why you and this Virgo, if you're enemies right now or, at odds, it could be because, you guys were friends and now the roles have swapped. So this particular Virgo that you always be thinking about, Pisces, the pig, you're always thinking about, talking to, you just want to talk to this person. It could be because you and this person were actually close friends in your past life. It's so sad when people were friends and turn enemy. That energy, the frequency just got really somber for me, really melancholy. Because I'm remembering the woman that was here in Rockabessa. I think she's probably still around. I'm not sure. I don't know. Um, like I always said, I wanted to have like at least that one close female friend that who I can resonate with, and we just chit chat. Too late for that now. The gates closed. I mean, if the friends they didn't come before, They're only gonna come right now because they want to feed off of my energy and clout, and it's so sad. Not that I'm lonely, because lovers, they always compensate, and like I said, I don't like to spread my energies thin. In a relationship, I always find all kinds of stuff to do that I wouldn't even have time for friends anyways. You feel me? But I really hope that that woman would have been my friend, but deep down inside, I knew it wasn't gonna work out, because like I said, it's not everybody can be happy for you. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people, they're in that selfish frequency where they only want good things to happen for them. And so she was trying to hurt me. She had this desire to hurt me, because the guy that I've been dealing with, she 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 put a curse on the relationship with our evil eye, you know, which I saw and was also confirmed and revealed to me. And then she tried to use her money, you know, to buy him love and affection, to buy him away from me, right? Because I'm not financially strong, not right now. But I don't let that bother me, because for me, love is not about what I have, it's about who I am. So if who I am is not enough for you, even if I had the world, I would not give you the world. Because having the world and giving you the world, once you get the world, you're gone. So I don't believe in buying love. That just don't work. Just come as you are. If the person don't love you or appreciate you, rock with the knowledge we you have, and however you look, it don't make any sense. Not care how pretty them be. It don't make no sense. You hear? Not care how pretty them be. And sometimes I find that it's the people who don't look all that behave like all that. Because a lot of people, they see me and they think that I'm snobbish and stuck up. Maybe it's because I'm coming from that Leo frequency. And that is so far from the truth. Of course, me tell off people and tell people my mind and put them in them place. But that is for my peace. And once that's been said, I'm going back to being, la 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 la. Nobody can keep me angry, because I'm not an angry person. I'm not supposed to be. I'm a beautiful soul. And for me, I never got with anybody because of how they look. All them people were people from my past lives. And I sense that familiar ear, that ear of familiarity. When you meet somebody, and even though if you saw them from afar, you felt a bit, skeptical. But once you come actually meet them in person, you feel calm and, relaxed and cool. That's a good one. You're safe, you're alright. Yeah, and you actually, this is somebody that you're familiar with. Because all them people that, I came across, especially the ones that I'm, now meeting even more recently, it's like I'm relapsing in my past life, and it's like sometimes I find myself, I don't even know if where the fuck I am if I'm in the present, because it's like I find myself seeing people that I never met in this lifetime, but it's as though I've already met them. The other dimensions are here, you just cannot see them, because like I've been saying, we need to transcend to higher frequencies. We cannot see the fourth or the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, so on and so forth, because the perspective and the perception that we've got. We need to, shift the perspective, and the perspective, they shift, Sila, they shift with the belief. The belief of the people, whatever the people believe. That's that 12th house frequencies. That's the finale. You feel me? Alright. So once we transcend to higher frequencies, we can see other dimensions and tap into them. We will see things much more differently, hear much more differently, smell and taste and feel much more differently, and even look much more differently. Because I've been telling people that the form of man will change, and it has been changing. And if you observant, you would see it. You would see the changes. Yeah, if you observant any at all. Gemini, you were, teacher or grandfather to your pastor, or this could be your spiritual guru, all right, or your yoga instructor. You were actually their teacher. You see how the roles they're reversing? And this could also be somebody who taught you someone you taught wealth, or someone who taught you wealth. Moving on to, Libra. In your past life, you were a model. Model to who? Okay. For some of you, you were a secret, and some of you were hidden. Yeah. Some of you, you were a secret mistress, I should say. Some of you could have suffered extreme paranoia in the past. Okay. I don't know why I didn't see that earlier, but there's so much more that I am still not even seeing right now that I will eventually see and discover at a later date. But some of you, you are a model to your mistress. So some of you could be married, and you work with your mistress, you model for your mistress, but you're actually married, you're hiding your spouse. Libra sun. Alright. But you are, in your past life, you used to model for your mistress, your current mistress. You were, you were a mistress for your boss, similar to Scorpio. As well as, some of you could have, been a model for, a big corporation. All right. And that's in your past. That's in your past life. So, some of you were models. Okay. Some of you, this could be, pornography. You could be involved in the porn industry. Oh, so some of you, some of you, some of you used to be an aide or an ally to your boss. For some of you, this is your father. Some of you, you were an aide or ally. Some of you, you were a secret mistress to your own father. Yep. But that's what's there. Maybe for some of you, you didn't even know that this was your father. Oh, crude fate. Then again, not really. But some of you, horses, you were, um, there's so many energies here. You were a help, okay? You are a helper, and this could be, to someone that you, desire to work with. You were actually, their help, or their maid, or, an ally to them. And this is someone that you're desiring to work with. This could be a spiritualist. And this could be a Virgo sun. Alright? So, in your past life, you were an aid, an ally, this person's helper. Someone, I feel like his secret, or, you were, oh my God. And hear what I'm getting again. Some of you, horses, you were actually a spy. A PI, a private investigator. You were actually spying, uh, on this person that you desire to work with. This could be a spiritualist, a Pisces. Okay, you are actually their spy. So, you could be spying on this person now. You could actually be spying against this person now. Because in the past you were an aid, an ally. You used to, you know, spy for them. Or the roles could be reversed. You could have been spying against them in the past, and in this lifetime, you're here to help them. But I'm getting strongly, Libra, that you're spying on the spiritualist that, you desire to work with. Alright? Or you were spying. Yeah, in your past life, you were a spy against this person that you now desire to work with. And remember, like I said, these frequencies, they can also, um, be, experiences within this particular life cycle, okay? Because there's cycles within cycles. So it could be, within, it could have been a time in this life cycle, a cycle in this life cycle, as well as, or a previous incarnation. You used to spy on this person, okay? That's what you used to do in the past, okay? But look at this. You're gonna desire to work with this person in the future. Okay, Aquarius. In your past life, you were father to your mother. Damn. You were the father of your mother. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys. There are so many things. If I keep looking at that thing, I'm gonna never end this video, and I need to end this video. I'm hungry. I need to eat something. Yeah, I'm starting to get back my appetite now. Ever since I made mention of the fuckery that's been going on, people fucking with my energy and shit. Lo and behold, as well as it's really the spell work, because it was wasn't even long after I did the spell work that I started feeling better. So it's really both of them. Ninja's feeling ashamed for doing shit to me, and and I'm gonna just say they're not gonna stop because people, they don't change. Once you call them out on one thing, it's just only a matter of time before they jump onto a new thing, a new way of trying to bring you down. Because the whole goal is to fucking bring you down. All right. But nonetheless, I've got my spell work. They always work, and I'm gonna just continue to protect myself. If you're interested in protection, you can definitely contact me. I've been saying I'm gonna put my contact number in the below, and I keep forgetting, so I'm gonna do that. And if you are interested in spell magic, if you are under spiritual attack, all right, you just holler at me. Namaste.